What is up, you guys? Wonderbro here. Today, I want to talk about the fact that you're going to be afraid, right? You're going to be afraid. There is still a big misconception out there that first fear is under your direct control. Now, let's break down first and second fear really quick because that's an important part of this equation. You must understand that to understand my point of this video. So, first fear, Dr. Claire Weekes. First fear is the symptoms that you feel in the body and the intrusive thoughts that come and go out of your head or sometimes get a bit sticky, right? That is first fear, completely out of your control, okay? Second fear is in your control. It is your job. Second fear is if you get in your head, you start fighting with those thoughts and feelings, you start trying to do something about them, you really focus and lock in on them and try to problem solve them, right? You give them a ton of time, energy, a debate, an argument. So again, to my point, you are going to be afraid. I feel like what happens is people are blaming themselves for first fear, right? It happens a lot. Oh man, I went into this situation and I got anxious. That's my fault. I'm not doing the advice right. I'm not accepting right. You can't control first fear. You go into a situation or just randomly get anxious. That is first fear, not in your control. So the moment you start saying something like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, now you're adding second fear to first fear when first fear is completely out of your control. See, it's pointless, right? You start adding second fear by saying things like, why am I anxious right now? Why is that thought in my head? You're already adding second fear to first fear. And again, first fear is out of your control. So you're going to be afraid. During recovery, you're going to have times, situations that show up, that pop up, that make you afraid. They pop the nerves off, right? That is not your fault. The moment you start questioning and saying, why am I afraid right now? What am I doing wrong? Now you're adding second fear. Instead, you're supposed to say, wait a minute, it's not in my control if my body wants to be anxious right now. It's not in my control if that thought wants to keep popping up in my head or it gets a little bit sticky. And those things aren't my fault. They're not my responsibility. It's first fear, right? Completely out of your control. So again, it is so crucial that people understand the difference between first and second fear. You know, first fear, again, the symptoms in the body, the thoughts that pop up in the head or come and go, get a bit sticky. Nothing you can do about it. Second fear is the moment that you start to lock in on those symptoms and thoughts and start fighting with them mentally and trying to run from them. And by run from them, I mean trying to reason them away and fight with them and argue with them instead of just saying something like, hey, you know what, there's first fear. I know if I accept it, eventually it'll die down. I'm going to get on with my day. I'm going to do what I want to do and just let that first fear be there. That's how you're supposed to be responding, right? So again, you're gonna be afraid, guys. There's so many people, I see people, you know, in the chat, in the comments saying things like, oh, you know, I messed up because I'm afraid. No, you're going to be afraid. That's a part of first fear, right? If you start saying things like, oh, I'm messing up because I'm feeling afraid, not only does it not make sense, because again, first fear is out of your control, but it's also a form of second fear, right? And you can't get away with that. You need to work on that. You got to practice with that. So I feel like it's just very important. This video is very important to let people know, hey guys, as you're going through this journey, as you're retraining your brains, you're getting over this anxiety shit, you're going to feel fear. We're not trying to eliminate that. In the end, as you begin to heal, of course, the symptoms and the thoughts begin to fade. But during the process, we're not trying to be not afraid. That just doesn't make sense. If you're trying to be not afraid, you're already going into it with resistance. No, you're going to feel afraid. You're going to feel fear. That is first fear. Nothing you can do about it. That's okay. Your job, your practice is to not add second fear. Something you can do about that. You got to work on what you tell yourself, not fighting mentally with those thoughts and feelings and living your life despite wanting to just use coping methods all day, use compulsions all day. So yeah, guys, I see people just make that mistake all the time. It's an easy mistake to make, right? And I feel like they make that mistake because they don't know the difference between first and second fear, which is exactly why I wanted to make this video. So if you wake up tomorrow and there's fear there and you start questioning, oh, why is there fear here? I'm failing with acceptance. No, you're not. That's first fear. It's supposed to be there. As long as you're doing your best to work on not adding second fear, which is all the mental arguing, fighting, and worrying, and negativity, and living your life, right? As long as you're working on those two things, the two keys, live your life, stop mentally fighting with your thoughts and feelings, then you're fine. Allow first fear to be there. That is a part of the process, right? You don't go into it thinking that you've failed because first fear shows up. It's supposed to show up, okay? Anxiety learns while anxiety is turned on. It's one of my classic lines that I love to use here on the channel. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs up. Really quick, I am super grateful that you guys are enjoying the return of old school style videos. The channel has been growing. Each video I upload gets way more interaction, way more likes and comments than the streams ever did. Now, that doesn't mean that the streams are going anywhere. We haven't done one in a while, but I'm not going to abandon the streams completely. I am going to hone in on the videos for a while, though, because the channel did for a while there start to just flatline around 11K. So I feel like people were kind of turned off by the streams. Unless you're a regular and you're a newcomer, you see that hour-long stream and it's kind of a turn-off. So I feel like that's why we started to flatline a bit, because ever since I've gotten back to videos for like, what, a week or two, we're already picking right back up and growing at a quicker rate than we have in a long time. So it's very clear to me now that people much prefer the videos, which is great. I love doing them. It's fun. It reminds me of the old days. But that doesn't mean the streams are going to go anywhere. I enjoy the streams. It's just for right now. It's probably going to be videos for a bit. So thank you guys so much for showing all the love and support. If you're interested in coaching, get up with me. The coaching is the reason I can just do the videos and not worry about the streams. So if you're interested in coaching, get up with me. Other than that, thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. Happy healing. Thank you for being here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check me out on TikTok, Vacate Fear, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. And until next time, as always, right there, stay awesome.